Every time a story comes out these days from about this story, the Benghazi story, we keep finding out that it's not the whole truth. What we've learned tonight, I've spoken to sources that are close to both the Petraeus family and Jill Kelly's family, and what I can confirm is that Jill Kelly never worked for the State Department, for JSOC, which is the Joint Special Operation Command, or for SOCOM, Special Operation Command. She is a family friend, as is her sister Natalie, of the Petraeus family. And what we can confirm is that Jill Kelly received threatening emails that the FBI believed could have been an attempt to blackmail David Petraeus as head of the CIA. They began to investigate, and that is when they came across information about the affair with Paula Broadwell. However, we also cannot confirm that Paula Broadwell sent those threatening emails to Jill Kelly, the family friend of Petraeus. There's no indication that Jill Kelly was having an affair with Petraeus. The affair that General Petraeus has admitted to was with Paula Broadwell and his biographer. But what is interesting, what is not clear at this point, is who wrote the threatening mails that started this daisy chain of events. And it may not, according to sources that we've talked to close to both families, it may not have been Paula Broadwell herself. This has been painted as a fight between two women over General Petraeus, but it's not clear that that's what it was at all.
And that's really the problem, right, Jennifer? Because if somehow or another someone had gained access to either her email and or that of General Petraeus, that is a compromise. That is not what you want. That's access that might be nefarious, and that's why they were investigating.
Well, and the other thing, Harris, is that it's not just that they may have gained access to his email. We don't have confirmation of that. What we do have confirmation of is that people close to David Petraeus were potentially receiving threatening emails that may have been, in fact, an attempt to blackmail the director of the CIA. And so there are more questions than answers tonight about who sent those emails and what was the nature of the threat.
Yeah, and that brings in the national security, because when you have the potential for someone at his level, we are at war. When you have someone at his level who might or might not be being blackmailed, that is potentially very dangerous for the rest of the country. Jennifer.
Also, Harris, there's one other point that I think is important to clarify. It's not clear that this is about an affair with Paula Broadwell at all. The more questions we ask, it's not clear that affair, when it began. There are some indications that it began a year ago after David Petraeus left the military, but there are many people close to Petraeus who say that Paula Broadwell was a regular fixture in Afghanistan. We know that, and that it was an open secret among his friends and closest friends that he did have a relationship with her, and that the FBI likely would have known about that when he went through his vetting to be the director of the CIA and confirmation hearing. So it's not clear why this is coming out right now.
Very interesting.
Especially since he was facing hearings on Capitol Hill that were bound to be tense with the Senate and House Intelligence Committees. Now we understand he does not plan to brief those hearings, and we heard from Senator Dianne Feinstein, the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee, today that she may request that he come as a private citizen and answer some questions.
Yeah, we may still see him sit in that seat on Capitol Hill. It may not actually be on Thursday, but in some days to come. We know Representative Peter King of New York, head of the House Homeland Security Committee, had said last night that, you know, there's a potential if he could just step away for a few days, gather himself and come back, they still want to talk with him because he's such a key figure. And finding out what happened at our U.S. consulate where 4 Americans, including our ambassador, were killed. And that's really where I want to go next with you, Jennifer, before I let you go. All of this coming just days before those hearings. Questions about what Petraeus knew, if he could take part. But now questions about who knew behind the scenes in Washington that the FBI was looking at the head of the CIA.
Well, apparently not many people knew. Certainly the oversight committees on Capitol Hill, and this has been a trend throughout this entire Benghazi story, is that the oversight committees and the intelligence committees that are supposed to have oversight over the CIA knew very little about what was going on, both with this affair, this alleged affair, and the Benghazi incident. So there's been a great deal of secrecy surrounding the FBI investigation that led to concerns about this affair or alleged affair. And so, again, a lot of people on Capitol Hill wondering why they weren't told about this potential threat to the director of the CIA. Why is it coming out 4 days before hearings where they were going to finally get some answers about Benghazi? It just doesn't add up. However, I will add, Harris, that sources close to the Petraeus and Kelly families tell me that his resignation does not have to do with Benghazi, and that the revelation of the affair with Paula Broadwell does not have to do with Benghazi. That's according to these sources. One other point of clarification, it's really curious, why did the AP run a story tonight saying that Jill Kelly was working for the State Department as a liaison officer to the Joint Special Operations Command, which the AP wrote was based in Tampa, Florida? The Joint Special Operations Command, everyone knows, is based in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. It is not based in Florida. So who was it that was feeding the AP that misleading information? Jill Kelly, according to family sources, does not work for the State Department, SOCOM, or JSOC.
Wow. Gosh, more questions again than answers. Jennifer Griffin following the facts for us tonight. We appreciate it, Jennifer. I know the story seems to be breaking across this weekend almost hour by hour, so we will stay on it. If the news warrants, we'll bring you back. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, well, new concerns tonight.